The movie begins with a banker named Will hiding inside a small hotel room. He's cooking when he suddenly hears a strange noise outside. Curious and cautious, he checks and finds a reindeer wandering near the place. Annoyed, Will gets angry, but before he can react further, several officers burst in and arrest him. Trying to appear cooperative, Will declares, "I'm ready to fully assist the police." Just then, Officer Denny arrives and starts questioning him. Will quickly tells her, "I'm ready to accept any deal you make." Denny calmly explains, "You'll have to testify against the mafia gangster whose accounts you've been handling." Will agrees, but demands full protection and security in return. Denny discusses this with her fellow officer, and they decide to take him back to London. The next day, Denny and Will board a small private plane. Will looks uneasy as he notices how old the plane is. Denny tells him, "We had to arrange this quickly to get back fast, and maybe you should have thought about that before hiding in this tiny town." She then calls her partner, saying they'll be back soon. Her partner warns her that the gangster's lawyers might already know what's happening. "That's why you must get that accountant safely to London," she says. Soon, the pilot joins them, greeting both of them politely. As they prepare to take off, the pilot notices Will talking quietly in the background, and Denny keeps a hand near her gun, staying alert. The pilot asks about Will, but Denny ignores the question and says, "Let's just leave." The three of them take off, and as the plane starts moving, Will feels it shaking badly. The pilot hands Denny a pair of headphones so they can communicate over the noise. They talk for a while, and Will, sitting behind them, feels uneasy watching their conversation. Suddenly, Denny realizes the radio isn't working. "We should turn back," she says, but the pilot replies calmly, "It's fine, we'll reach our destination soon." Out of nowhere, a bird smashes into the plane, startling everyone. The pilot brushes it off, saying it happens all the time. Will, still anxious, notices the pilot's ID from behind and is shocked. The photo doesn't match the face of their real pilot. Alarmed, he tries to warn Denny, but she can't hear him through the headphones. He throws a button toward her to get her attention. When she looks back, the pilot notices and stares directly at Will. Nervously, Will pretends nothing is wrong and says, "We should go back. I'm not feeling well." Denny refuses and tells him to stay calm. Moments later, Denny spots bloodstains on the pilot's clothes. Suspicious, she begins asking questions. "Who's your contact officer?" she asks. The pilot answers casually, "The same officer who assigned us this task." Denny replies, "Our contact is Paul, and he's a nice man." The pilot grins and says, "Yes, Paul's very nice. He paid me well for this job." Denny's eyes narrow. "I never spoke to any officer named Paul because there isn't one." The pilot smirks. "Oh, so you've caught me then," he says, and suddenly attacks her. A violent fight breaks out in the cockpit. The pilot punches Denny hard, knocking her unconscious. He turns to Will and growls, "You shouldn't have betrayed the mafia." Furious, he reveals that he's working for them too. Will panics and tries to bribe him. "I'll give you $1 million, just let me go," he pleads. The pilot laughs and asks, "Where did you get that kind of money?" Will confesses, "I used to steal small amounts from the gangsters without them knowing." The pilot chuckles darkly. "You don't look like the cunning type. But even if I take your money, I'll still have to kill this woman so there's no evidence left." Before he can act, Denny suddenly regains consciousness. She grabs a taser and shocks him in the neck. The pilot screams as his cap falls off, revealing a bald head. Denny hits him again, knocking him out cold. She quickly pushes him aside and takes control of the plane, which is on the verge of crashing. Struggling with the controls, she finally manages to stabilize it and lift it back into the sky. Will, trembling, tells her to switch on autopilot. They see the unconscious pilot lying motionless. Denny checks on Will. "Are you okay?" she asks. "No, not at all," Will replies, breathing heavily. "Now we have to figure out what to do." They tie the pilot up and start searching his clothes. Inside, they find mafia arrest documents and photos of both Denny and Will. Will is horrified to see that the pilot even knows his mother's address. He could have gone after her, Will whispers in fear. Denny tries to reassure him. He's here with us. He won't do anything now. We'll hand him over to the police. But when they try to use the plane's GPS and radio, both are dead. Denny and Will work together to repair the radio, and finally they make contact with someone. The voice on the other end is faint, and the signal keeps breaking. Denny remembers her satellite phone and quickly calls her partner. She answers, "Did you reach safely?" Denny replies, "No, our pilot attacked us. He wasn't the real one. The mafia sent him to kill us, but we've knocked him out." Her partner sounds relieved. "We'll send help immediately," she says. "Just hold on." The pilot suddenly regains consciousness, laughing maniacally. "I can help you fly the plane," he mocks. Denny glares at him. "Then tell me how to fly it," she demands. The pilot smirks. "No, I won't." Denny points her gun at him. He sneers, "Shoot if you want, but one bullet could throw off the plane's balance, then all three of us die." Denny threatens to throw him in jail. He just laughs. "That's fine," he says. "I've always belonged there anyway." Her partner then connects them with a captain, who starts guiding them on how to control the plane. Following his instructions, they manage to take it higher, but without GPS, they still have no clue where they are. The captain slowly teaches Will the basics of flying. Meanwhile, the pilot starts humming and laughing, threatening Will. "I'll go to your mother's house and kill her," he says cruelly. Will, enraged, shouts, "How does this monster know where my mother lives? I never wrote it anywhere." Denny looks worried too. Then her phone rings again. Her fellow officer sounds grave. She says, "We found your real pilot. He was murdered, eyes gouged out, ears and nose cut off. It was brutal." Denny realizes instantly that the thug on their plane is the killer. She asks, "Who else knew about our mission?" The officer replies, "Only me and my boss, Jack. We discussed it and sent you to bring Will back." Suddenly, Will screams, "We're about to hit a cliff!" Denny jerks the controls, pulling the plane upward just in time. The turbulence throws the pilot off balance. He secretly grabs a knife from his pocket, trying to free himself. The plane hits a patch of ice, jolting violently, but manages to stay airborne. Both Denny and Will are terrified as they fight to keep it steady. The pilot hides the knife again, pretending to be unconscious, while Denny adjusts her headset and focuses on keeping them alive.
The pilot taunts them, saying Denny used to be a personnel officer who once failed to protect a witness and that the witness was killed. Will is stunned and Denny becomes furious. The pilot smirks, then teases, "Oh, sorry, I probably shouldn't have said that." Denny snaps, "How do you know that?" and lashes out, hitting him. The pilot doesn't explain. Instead, he says, "You didn't just kill him, you burned him alive," and then adds that someone else did the killing. Hearing that, Denny's anger flares even more. She grabs him and beats him hard. While she struggles with him, the pilot manages to take off Denny's glasses and uses the control stick to free his tied hands. Denny grows confused and nervous. Will tells her to calm down. Denny tells Will about the mission from 3 years earlier. She had been sent to bring a girl back as a witness. The girl was staying in a hotel. Denny convinced her to cooperate, but the mafia sent goons, set the hotel alight, and the girl burned. Denny had tried to save her and failed. The memory shakes her. Denny's partner calls again. Denny tells Will, "This man knows everything about you, even about me. Someone on our side is leaking information. We have to tell Jack." Her colleague insists they can trust the whole team. Denny asks, "Do you trust Jack?" The partner says yes. Jack is important and would not betray us. Denny's doubts grow because Will and the partner refuse to listen. She calls headquarters and asks to speak to Jack, but she's told he's on vacation in Hawaii. They will contact him and call back. Soon Jack reaches Denny. She tells him, "One of my colleagues is working with the mafia and passed our information." Jack asks if she's certain. She says she is. Denny then spots land below, a shore, and tells the captain. Both Denny and Will feel relief as they change course toward it. Suddenly, a thought hits Denny. She's read Will's file and found that he handled mafia transactions and paid a portion to someone in Hawaii.
Will admits they sent weekly payments to an officer who protected the mafia. Denny realizes the officer receiving payments is Jack. He must be the real traitor. She calls her partner and explains everything, apologizing for suspecting her. I called Jack and accused him of working with the mafia, Denny says. Will wildly protests. You're crazy. You ruined everything. Hang up and leave it to me. The two head toward the shore and spot a ship. The captain locates its position and they cheer, but then the captain orders them to head the other way. In the confusion, the pilot breaks free. The pilot subtly stabs Will and grabs Denny, taking her gun. He taunts them, "Who will save you now?" In the struggle, Will manages to pull a knife and stabs the pilot. Denny uses a flare gun to strike him, causing more injury. She stabs him again and knocks him unconscious. Will is badly hurt. Denny rushes to help him and promises she won't let anything happen to his mother. She begins treating his wounds. The pilot later regains consciousness but is handcuffed by Denny. The captain calls and warns them they will see a runway soon and must attempt a dangerous landing. Denny acknowledges the danger. Will, trembling, says, "It's all my fault." Denny replies, "No, it's the mafia's fault." Will confesses he stole about $10 million from the mafia and ran. The police caught him and now want him as a witness. He begs Denny to promise she will protect his mother if anything happens to him. Denny promises she won't allow harm to come to him or his family. Jack calls Denny again. He says Denny was right. Her partner was the traitor. They went to arrest her, but she had an accident and died. Denny realizes Jack arranged the death to cover his tracks. She confronts him, accusing him of betrayal and revealing that she discovered his Hawaii base and payment records. Jack angrily denies it and hangs up. The pilot taunts Denny, asking why she doesn't kill him. She answers, "Because I'm not like you." The pilot sneers that they are worse than him. A rescue plane appears in the sky and Denny feels hope. The pilot laughs, saying they won't be able to land and all three will die. The mafia will be saved. Denny spots the runway and steers the plane toward it. The pilot frees himself from the handcuffs and attacks. Denny shoots him, wounding him badly. The captain coaches her through final landing steps. The plane shakes violently as she brings it down. It touches the runway, tires burst, and the doors break open. The pilot is thrown out when the plane skids, and an ambulance behind them accidentally runs over him, killing him. The plane finally stops. Medical teams rush in. Denny finds Will unconscious and lifts him gently. Officers pulled him out. A nurse tells Denny the pilot was struck by a vehicle and died. Denny replies, "Good. He deserved it." Will is loaded into an ambulance. And as it starts, a man posing as an officer slips inside. Denny sprints, opens the ambulance door, and sees the man beating Will. She shoots and kills him on the spot, saving Will again. Will is terrified and shaken. Denny comforts him, steady and fierce. Jack calls the killer who had been sent to finish the job. Denny answers and tells Jack, "Will is alive because I saved him. This time you will pay. I won't spare you." She hangs up. The real officers arrive, relieved to find both Denny and Will alive. The story ends with everyone acknowledging Denny's bravery and the rescue of Will, closing the chapter on their dangerous flight.